dark, it's scary, it's trip hazard, there's fall hazard, there's all sorts, there's elderly, there's children, there's disabled people, it's all sorts of, there's luggages in the stairwell.
Some residents were very concerned about the refurbishment, the whole concept of the refurbishment. Some residents were very pleased that it was the last addressing some of the problems they'd had with heating and either being very hot or very cold, and that we had invested £10 million making this
So
we'll
know more about what exactly has gone wrong with the public inquiry, but there are certain things that we can talk about now because obviously this is your area. Things will have to move quicker than the public inquiry, one assumes. So how many towers in Kensington and Chelsea have similar cladding?
As far as I know, there are no other towers with that cladding. That tower was reclad as part of the renovation that took place.
So no other regeneration that happened last year to apparently make these blocks better, and then these fires have never happened. I've lived here my entire life.
Some are old towers that don't. How many old towers do not have sprinklers?
Some of the towers built before the early 1970s won't have integral sprinklers.
How many?
I can't give you a number as to how many.
You haven't checked up since the fire?
We have asked the London Fire Brigade to look at all our towers and give us a report on whether fire safety in all of the towers, because we're very conscious residents are worried about this, whether they can give us the assurance that we need that all of those towers are safe and that they comply with fire standards and fire regulations.
Well, we'll come on to talk about sprinklers in a moment in other buildings, but in the refurbishment, did you consider retrofitting sprinklers?
I didn't consider retrofitting sprinklers because we were told that what you try to do when you're refurbishing is to contain a fire within a particular flat so that the fire service can evacuate that flat, deal with the fire, and that is how you now contain...
Do you wish now you had...
We can only offer prayers, we can only offer support to the people who've lost loved ones. We can only pray for those who have passed away. We can only praise the fire services for their efforts. We can only praise the emergency services for their efforts in trying to make some sort of sense and save as many people as they can.
And a report by the British Automatic Fire Sprinklers Association said that they reckon that Grenfell Tower could have been retrofitted with sprinklers, which would have helped in some ways with this fire for £200,000. Now, we know the residents were talking about issues of sprinklers. Why were retrofitting of sprinklers not considered?
Because there wasn't a collective view that all the flats should be fitted with sprinklers, because that would have delayed and made the refurbishment of the block more disruptive.
Delay would surely have been sufficient. Delay would be more important than having a fire.
We are now talking retrospectively after the most enormous tragedy, but many residents felt that we needed to get on with the installation of new hot water systems, new boilers, and that trying to retrofit more would delay the building, and that sprinklers aren't the answer now. That's a lot of the fire. Well, of course, I regret anything that we might have done differently that would have avoided this tragedy.
The thing I wanted to say, though, this thing that they're all saying about, oh, it might have been a fridge that exploded or something like that. I don't know about all of that, but what I do know is they did regeneration last year to that building that they're talking about doing to all of these buildings. They did it to that building only, £10 million they're talking about, and put these shoddy plastic things on there that set up a light because they want more reasons to knock these blocks down. There's two options. They could either regenerate the blocks or they could knock them down. And after that, I'm not so sure that was totally an accident.
So many people were left inside. We had so many relatives and families and friends that called and said, we are still trapped in. Let the fire services know that we are still here.
We have council.
It's not about the centres, it's about people that you're housing out, and you said you would visit them, and nobody visited them.
And my understanding is that housing officials are and will visit them, but there are huge issues about people who are still displaced.
But you failed to look after them once, you're failing to look after them twice.
Well, Kirsty,